Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining to you why a large corrective movement is now likely on Bitcoin. We talked about yesterday why this is almost certainly not the beginning of a bear market, but this might be one of the first pieces of evidence that we have that Bitcoin is starting to form a super cycle. That's right. You've heard the debate for a long time. Are we going to have a blow-off top rally to $180,000 to $200,000 on Bitcoin? Massive alt season. We're going to add $3 trillion of market capitalization into Bitcoin, and then we're going to have a massive crash and bear market into 2026 as a result of the four-year halving cycle. Or is Bitcoin now on this metaphorical stairway to heaven, where because of institutional demands, the institutional buying, whenever we drop more than 20% on Bitcoin, we are now going to see a massive run all the way up to $1 million, but it's going to take 5-6 years instead of us having a couple of bull market, bear market cycles. I'm about to show you why I think a correction is about to start on Bitcoin, and then I'm going to show you why it's actually a very good thing if it does. So let's get started. Over the course of this bull market so far, ever since the launch of the ETFs, we have seen three major movements. We saw a first movement here where we saw the Bitcoin ETFs approved about half of the way through this movement. This was a $48,000 movement on Bitcoin. Following that, we saw right around the election of President Donald Trump a $55,000 movement on Bitcoin, slightly larger. After that, as a result of the correction that happened in the United States stock market and in the Bitcoin market following the news of the tariffs, Bitcoin bottomed out, backtesting $74,000, the previous all-time high, and so far Bitcoin has rallied once again $50,000. Many people, including myself, have been expecting a $135,000 to a $150,000 Bitcoin during this leg up, but for reasons I'm going to explain in this video, that seems to be becoming slightly less on the table. That said, once again, we have not had a blow off top, so this does not indicate that we're going to go into a major bear market. However, it could indicate the beginning of a super cycle. Let's get started. This is now, again, our third major impulse of this bull market in the post-institutional era. And something very important happened over the last 48 hours. Bitcoin broke this uptrend right here. This uptrend right here has three touches. Our first touch is down at $74,000. Our next touch here is at $98,000. Our touch before that is sitting here at $112,000, which was our previous all-time high. And now we have broken beneath this uptrending level of support. I would actually argue that this uptrending level of support is more important than the flat level at 112. And with this uptrending level of support being broken, unless something seriously changes in the next few days, 112 is going to almost certainly be backtested, if not broken. We also can see this center line of the entire bull market right here that is very important. Right here is in the middle of being tested, and it's actually being broken. If we draw this center line for the entire uptrending bull market here, we have a set point back here at $25,000 on the 12th of June 2023. Several highs here from the ETF launch, a high here, bottoms here. We broke beneath it here to enter into our corrective movement. We have several highs and lows here that backtest this line. And then you can also see that we are currently, as it stands, falling beneath this uptrend. Even just over the last few hours, this trend line is being broken. We're falling down here to the 404 hourly simple moving average, and we are trying to fall beneath this uptrend. This uptrend, once again, is actually more important than the flat level at $112,000. So if it breaks and we stay beneath that uptrend for long enough, that indicates that a backtest of 112 is on the horizon, and it also indicates that a backtest of the entire bull market uptrend could be in order. The entire bull market uptrend is a trend line that sits right here. That would indicate a drop down to possibly as low as $92,000, but of course we would first and foremost find great strength at 100. That said, we need to talk about what that looks like. Is Bitcoin about to go through a major correction? Everything is pointing to that being a great possibility right now, and I want to show you why, and I want to show you how to prepare for it. Okay, here's the first reason why this is so important. In trading, which we teach in the first cohort Discord server, there's a bunch of people joining over here. If you go into technical analysis, you're going to see a bunch of people talking about two different lines, an action line and a safety line. When you are doing technical analysis for the sake of trading, you want to find a safety line from which you know when to take stop losses. If you've been swing trading this entire movement north, this uptrend has been your safety line, which means that an entry that you would have put when we broke the action line down here, right there, you would theoretically be taking profits on right here. The reason for that is because the safety line right here has been broken. When a safety line in trading gets broken, it becomes what's known as an action line. This action line being broken actually gives us a short entry. And so if you have been swing trading this entire movement for the last 6 months, this, technically speaking, is where your stop loss should be, between $112,000 and $113,000. If you want to give Bitcoin room to run, then you would put your stop loss down here around $111,500. In other words, many Bitcoin longs are going to have liquidation prices, or they're going to have stop losses right beneath $112,000. If $112,000 breaks, we will almost certainly very rapidly be retesting the previous all-time high at $109,000. If that breaks, then we're almost certainly going back to $100,000. And it's funny because if you look at the last 18 months of price action on the Bitcoin chart, you will find that the point of control still sits right here at $96,000 to $100,000. I'm going to go out on a limb and tick off almost all of you and say that if Bitcoin does not get back up above $115,000 within the next 3 days, we are going to backtest $100,000. It might not break because of how much strength is there, but if we do not get back above $115,000 in the next 3 days, my prediction is that Bitcoin is going to return to $100,000. Maybe we return to 105. There's a great deal of support there, but I think we'll return to between $100,000 and $105,000. I'm going to write that out right here. Let's go ahead and write this. If Bitcoin is not above 115, okay, before August 22nd, then Bitcoin will return to 100K to 105K. That's the prediction. This is our Bitcoin price prediction. It's an if-then statement. If Bitcoin is not above $115,000 before August 22nd, then Bitcoin will return to $100,000 to $105,000. Now, people are going to say, Jeb, you massive bear, what gives? When we broke this safety line on the previous uptrend, there was plenty of institutional demand. There was plenty of excitement. There was plenty of exuberance about Bitcoin, but that didn't matter because the technicals are king. We have seen RSI go very high. In that market back then, we saw RSI jump up above 70. In this market, we've seen it happen twice. Furthermore, if we look on our other charts here that are a little bit cleaner, we don't have clean charts, of course. If we look on our other charts, you're going to notice that there is bearish RSI divergence right here. There is bearish RSI divergence in these highs as well. And so I think that what you're about to see happen is something akin to what we saw over here. I think you're going to see a correction. Does that mean that you can't be taking entries at 113? No, you can be taking entries at 113 for the investment position. If you are in a long, you should be very careful because the market is now telling us that we are bearish. A back test of $100,000 to $105,000, in my opinion, is likely and is likely going to come soon. So what should we do about that? A couple of things. Any long trades that you are in, I would recommend you get your liquidation entry, your liquidation price below $90,000. Why? The reason for that is because this, as we talked about yesterday, I wanted to make that video first to make sure you understood that this is not the beginning of a bear market, because I'm not saying that. I made an entire video explaining and disproving why this is not the beginning of the bear market. That said, during these corrections, Bitcoin can fall back to this uptrend, and it can also fall back to the 400 daily simple moving average. That uptrend right now is at $88,000. By the time we get there, it will be sitting at about $90,000 to $92,000, which means we are going to find a very strong and powerful zone of support in this triangle right here between this uptrending level of support and $100,000. This box right here is going to become absolutely crucial for Bitcoin. And there is a great possibility that Bitcoin is going to fall down a little bit above it because of all the buying pressure and possibly even fall down into it before we rally. Now, here's the good news. Here's the very good news. This is what I'm excited about. First and foremost, I just gave you your take profit, your stop loss, if you've been longing Bitcoin and you entered back in April or whatever month comes after, March, right? March, April, May, or May. On the other hand, this is also good news, because it almost certainly means the 4-year halving cycle is in the process of being disproven. Why? If Bitcoin does start this correction, as we did back here, then that means that Bitcoin will most likely be bearish for the next 2 months, for the rest of August and all of September. If Bitcoin is bearish for the next 2 months, all of August and all of September, then when does the banana mode blow off top happen? Maybe it happens starting in November, goes into December, January, and February, and then we have an extended cycle. Possibly. Maybe we end up doing something like this. On the other hand, maybe Bitcoin drops back down to $90,000 to $100,000. Maybe it holds 100 just because 100 is so strong. We drop back down there, and then Bitcoin rallies up to, let's say, $150,000. If Bitcoin drops down to 90, rallies to 150, that's only a $60,000 move. Guys, we've already done a $60,000 move almost 3 times in this market. $50,000 to $60,000 moves are nothing. So if Bitcoin drops down to 90 to 100, rallies up to 150 or 160, that is not a parabolic blow off top. And remember what we've talked about, parabolic blow off tops are what cause the bear markets. So if we do not get a parabolic blow off top because we drop back down to 100 or 105 and then we rally to 150, that's not a blow off top. That is a linear growth. That is linear growth. And so that puts us in this position where we have to start considering that we're not going to have a bear market. In fact, if we correct back down to 100 to 105, like I'm saying we might, it actually helps to disprove the idea that we're going to have a bear market rather than prove it. All fundamentals point to a lengthening cycle where the all-time high would be maybe in February, March, April of next year, not a shortening cycle, which is what we would be seeing if we entered into a bear market right now. There is absolutely, unequivocally, zero evidence that we're going into a bear market right now. That said, there is quite a great bit of evidence that if Bitcoin does not get back up above 115 in the next 3 to 4 days, then we're going to go through a large drop. It's possible we're just putting a bearish wick down here on the weekly chart. This is an early warning sign. I'm not formally making the call yet, but it's something to be something to pay close attention to. But if Bitcoin does go through a correction right here, it actually provides the healthy consolidation that Bitcoin needs to enter into a super cycle, not into a bear market. So I might be the only person in the entire crypto space right now telling you, no, we're not going into a bear market. And no, we also might not be going into banana mode, blow off top, crazy 10 to 1,000x altcoin season in the next month. I am actually not in either one of those camps. I'm kind of in the middle. I think we're going to have a pretty decent sized correction here that's going to scare the crap out of most of you because you think we're going into a bear market, but we're not. And it's also going to scare the crap out of most of you because you think we're supposed to be going into this banana mode blow off top, and it doesn't happen. And instead, what we are doing is Bitcoin is taking a mid-cycle correction the way it would if we were a year from the all-time high, a year from a bear market, rather than 3 months. In short, we're probably going to see a correction. This is a decent place to be careful about longing. If you took a swing trade and your entry is $75,000, 113 is a great place to take profit on that. Keep your liquidation price below $90,000. We're probably not going to see a parabolic blow off top in the next 2 to 4 weeks unless we just have a huge amount of institutional buying, and that is happening. So that's possible that turns things around. And finally, in short, you just need to be careful. You need to be very careful not to over leverage yourself. You need to buy the dips, and you need to make sure that you have dry powder in reserve in case the dip just keeps on dipping. Now, last thing I want to mention in this video is my guiding philosophy. This is how I invest. I posted this on X earlier today. My goal is to buy as much Bitcoin as I can while remaining solvent. If I can still pay bills now, and during future bear markets, then I buy more. If the present or future likely scenarios present me with a greater than negligible risk of insolvency without selling Bitcoin, then I do not buy more because I don't like selling Bitcoin. Simple as that. Goal is to be hyper solvent when RSI, greed, exuberance is high, so that when RSI is low and people are scared, I still have dry powder to invest. Punching hard at the highs is great unless it liquidates you at the bottoms, because you put yourself in a position where you're forced to sell. Don't make that mistake. That's the key takeaway for today. A correction that is significantly larger than what you think could be around the corner. We're not making that call yet. We've not fulfilled our if-then conditions. But what I will say is that on the hourly chart, we are breaking bearish out of a falling wedge under that uptrending level of support at the same time, which is not something I'm thrilled about in the slightest. And a correction from here might be necessary. One last thing. Am I recommending you sell any of your investment position? No, not at all. The only people that I would recommend taking profits are those of you that entered into a multi-month swing trade on low leverage at $75,000 to $80,000 because you're probably up at least 40% if you're trying to buy back in lower. Those are the only people that I would recommend to even consider selling. Otherwise, stack cash, buy the dips, prepare for the for the bull market to resume within the next couple of months. If you want to trade this market, because there are innumerable opportunities to trade and invest in Bitcoin right now, I highly recommend that you join us and trade right alongside us. And the easiest way for you to do that is in the first cohort. If you guys do not already know, we launched something called the first cohort Discord server, which is where I come alongside all of you guys and teach you guys exactly how to succeed in the cryptocurrency markets. And that Discord server looks a little bit like this. We talk about it quite a bit. A lot of you guys are joining. A ton of people have joined in the last few days. I mean, we're getting probably 10 people joining every single day. We've got 113 offline. We've got 35 online. So about 150 people in the Discord server right now. It's growing very quickly, and I want to help you get into the Discord server for free. And the way that you can do that is by signing up for the exchange that we use and trading on it. And that exchange is none other than 2Bit. If you sign up for 2Bit, which is an absolutely phenomenal cryptocurrency exchange, and deposit $100, we are going to give you access to the first cohort trading group for free for 1 year. All you have to do is go to the link in the description box down below. You're going to be greeted with this page. When you deposit $100 into 2Bit, you're going to get a 1 year coupon code, 1 year free coupon code for the first cohort trading group. You're also going to immediately get $30 in rewards. So you just turned $100 into $130. You're also going to get $50 for a registration bonus, so you just turned $100 into $180. And when you do your first $1,000 trade on perps, you will double this into $100. So you just turned $100 into $230 and 1 year free in the best trading group in the entire game. If you want my signals well before YouTube gets them, then make sure to sign up for 2Bit with the link in the description box down below. Join all of us over here who are trading together. This person, for example, right now, is making a lot of money in ADA. We've got a bunch of people that are making 100% plus trades. I mean, this person is up 157% on ETH, etc. So a lot of great stuff going on in the Discord server. I would love for you to join. Sign up for 2Bit, deposit $100, send proof of that deposit, just a screenshot to MalachiPats@CryptoJeb.com with the link in the description box down below, and we will get you in the Discord server as soon as possible. I look forward to seeing you guys at the bottom, wherever that is, whether that's here, now, or in the next few days. And I'm looking forward to longing the bottom with you guys. Come join the Discord server. Let's do it together. I love you. And before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.